Steven Crowder exposed a racist Texas professor. Let's see what he had to say about it.
Basically left with nothing. Too trapped in a war to be at peace.
Is that a noose or Mardi Gras beads? I'm not sure. This professor who's featured today, famous. He should be happy.
What? Why would you say that?
Happy about it. Kevin Howard from the University of North Texas. That's Kevin Howard from the University of North Texas. And
All right, cool. Just like fucking say his fucking full name and location. Might as well say his fucking address while you're at it.
the course that he is teaching is Diverse Learners. In spring of 20.
He's gonna say he's racist towards white people. Okay.
Why don't you just do it?
Yes.
Why don't you just teach a diverse group of people? Why do you need to teach people how to teach diverse learners? So let's go through a few
Like that
things.
book, Anti-Racist Baby.
Right.
Oh god. Fuck. His it's just like a fucking bombardment of fucking stupid boomer shit. Look at this fucking smug cunt. Yeah, his shirt also says free speech matters. He's wearing a gun holster because he's a pussy and is afraid of his own shadow.
You're like, good news, it is.
Right. So one of the first things that he discusses in the syllabus is gender pronouns. We'll get to
He's afraid of his own shadow because it's black.
this. Then we have some audio recordings. According to the syllabus, the class, quote, will focus on structures of the social, and you'll hear the clips. This is pretty close.
Okay. Good.
Social structures of social and educational inequality, in particular as they relate to race, class, and gender, processes of power and control in education.
Jeez.
What is wrong with that? You're just upset because the words got too many syllables in them. What's wrong with you? No way. Who here has gender pronouns?
It sounds like psycho gobbledygook,
It does.
Gobbledygook. That's not the word.
and it is, but it's also really scary when you actually think about what that means.
Is it, Steven?
Control in education, yes, because conservatives dominate that industry.
Yes.
Yeah. Betsy DeVos was the Secretary of Education. She like obliterated teachers' unions. What is wrong with you? Regardless, yeah, higher education is dominated by liberal thought, but like that's the only that's the last vestige of like any sort of liberal leftist institution. Everything else is dominated by conservative capitalists. And even still, Jordan Peterson comes from higher education. There are a multitude. Fucking Alan Dershowitz is a Harvard professor. What do you mean? There are extremely well-known conservatives in higher education. Like, I'll kill you.
And just so you know, this professor is every bit as radical as you might have guessed from the syllabus. So
Every bit as he's such a nerd. Thank you, Nicole, for allowing people to say I'll kill you in chat.
here's Professor Howard discussing in his class, and some of these clips are a little bit longer for context. All of these are available at loudearthcrowder.com. The link is in the description as far as all of the references. Here is Professor Howard discussing, in a not so subtly racist way, whiteness.
Yeah, well, what the fuck did I tell you? He's gonna say this guy hates white people. Bitch, white is not a race. What is wrong with you? You fucking... Can we get some Ritz in the chat? Can we just get some... I'm hungry. I'm thinking about some Ritz buttery snacks, you know? Kill. Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Watch televised thing is inherently heteronormative.
I'm Steven Crowder. I don't know what that means. It's got more than 3 syllables.
Inherently masculine, which delves into the intersectionality of whiteness. Nobody calls it out. That's why theorists are saying it's invisible. Because nobody calls it out, then it becomes the norm. Make sense? And when something is the norm, if no one points it out, if no one questions it, then it's unchecked.
Why do they leave in the audio? You can mute Steven Crowder sniffing. You don't need to have that when we're listening to something else. Is his commentary of him going, really that important that we also need to hear him fucking swallow his fucking own spit into the microphone while I'm trying to listen to something else? I don't want to hear that.
Unmarked. It's invisible. It's fluid. It moves. And we talked about this last class, right? Classism. You understand how that operated? The bourgeoisie and the folks who are taking lands. Even when we come to taking lands, we think of it even as colonization. Thins out, right? So there are so many pillars and so many things happening all at once simultaneously.
So let's see some of the problems there where he says it is inherently heteronormative to watch.
It's just such like basic level like understanding of heteronormative society. He wasn't even like saying that much. He was just like he cut him off when he was like, we talked about classism. Steven Crowder talks about classism. He'll say like AOC is classist because she drives a $30,000 Tesla.
Watch TV. What are we doing? This is something that can't be disproven. This should not be the realm of professors, by the way, in the same way that it should not be the realm of science.
What?
Well, hold on a second. I don't think it's heteronormative simply to watch TV. It doesn't matter. He's made the accusation. What does that
He didn't say that. Am I crazy? He didn't say that.
do? That tries to instill guilt in a good portion of that classroom. What do you think straight white males? How do you think they feel in that classroom?
Huh? Won't someone please think of the straight white males? It's about goddamn time.
What if you said watching television is actually Afro-American normative?
Yeah, there's a reason that that term has never been said before. There's a reason that that's not a thing. Like I need Steven Crowder to just think about it for like 10 seconds as to why we don't talk about black norms. It's almost like there's a certain race that has more power in society culturally. Yeah, also if you use Afro-American, you're a fucking eugenicist. Like,
Afro-lesbian normative. Probably wouldn't go over too well.
yeah, because that's not real. Because there are no normatives, because being black and lesbian is still not acceptable culturally in certain areas of this country to this day. There are parts of the country where that would get you fucking killed. What is wrong with you?
So we've just laid at the feet in a way that cannot be proven, and certainly in a way that cannot be questioned, again, because you are a
Also, it can be proven.
forced captive audience with this
And also, if you can't question it, it's because you're fucking stupid.
professor. Guilty, 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 guilty. Guilty by history, guilty by association, guilty by your everyday activities watching television. That's heteronormative.
I think it's like a pretty obvious projection that Steven Crowder is having this issue. Like, he's looking at someone saying something is heteronormative and associating blame with it. He never said it's bad. He's just bringing attention to the fact that something is heteronormative. I don't think he said watching TV is heteronormative. But regardless, he's like, oh, he said something's heteronormative, and that makes somebody a victim. That makes straight white men a victim. Anything to make straight white men a victim, right? It's fucking pathetic.
I put a huge emphasis on saving lives. The fact of the matter, though, is that any lives saved do not replace those that have been lost. Thus, I am basically
Line.
What? He's gonna say that this is a lecture and not obviously a fucking play.
left with nothing.
Yeah, if you're watching my stream on a TV, you're watching TV and now you're straight. Sorry. Conservatives think just because they can name a group of people, they don't have problems anymore when they make the problems. Yeah.
Too trapped in a war to be at peace.
Is that a noose or Mardi Gras beads? I'm not sure.
It's a news. It's pretty obvious. Conservatives will like ignore racism even when it's being portrayed by a black person for artistic purposes. Conservatives will look at Django Unchained and be like, are those slave owners or are they just friends? I don't understand. Like they'll make as many excuses as possible for racism until it happens directly in front of their eyes, unmistakably, and all other excuses have already been exhausted.
Garage door pull.
It's anal beads.
This is what brought me to my final mission.
Dude, are you 3 years old? Were you giggling at the fact that you just said anal beads and you're like, yay? He's putting anal beads around his neck because that's how that works. You never fucking, have you seen anal? That's not how it works.
Nothing heteronormative about that.
What?
Wow. Where's his Emmy?
I wouldn't accept.
Steven Crowder has a fucking theater arts degree. Can we just talk about that for a second? That's the kind of shit he'd be doing if he was still in school.
They'll just play me off.
Fabulous.
I'm an artist. Sorry, I meant professor.
Except he'd be putting the noose around the black person for artistic reasons. That's the kind of play he'd fucking write.
Sir.
How did he do the voice so well?
It's just he's an actor.
Was he getting hung for being black or gay?
I have no idea.
Probably
for
gay.
not being a great actor.
Well, I'm just wondering what the play's.
That
Yeah, Steven Crowder, famously a good actor.
was the era's equivalent of the Razzie.
I'm honestly asking. I assumed that was what the play was about, right?
Well, maybe you should watch more than fucking 3 seconds of it, you stupid gremlin little cocksucker. I hate this fucking bitch. This fucking fatherless, alcoholic piece of shit on the left. He's such a goddamn weasel. I hate this guy. I legitimately fucking loathe this pathetic little fucking goblin so much. Like, Steven Crowder's bad, but his fucking peanut gallery of fucking orbiting, cocksucking fucking yes men make me so angry because he's hired them, paid them a probably dog shit salary just to sit there and nod and gobble Steven Crowder's tiny steroid affected balls. Like, I'll kill you. It's about time. Don't do worms dirty like that. Worms always do it dirty because they live in the dirt.
Right.
I have no idea.
We're back, baby.
Seems about right. Let's go with that. Here's the same professor, Professor Howard, of course, discussing. So now what we have is a
And
professor.
same with the like balding pedophile looking motherfucker. He's also really obnoxious. And all the dudes in the studio like Quarter Black Garrett. Yeah, my favorite Steven Crowder character.
in a position of power. Okay. So when people talk about the power structures that be, this is a very common theme. And I hate it when the left, they'll accuse, they'll be like, you're projecting. Well, okay, projection is a real thing, but it's not a real thing as it relates to, example, for disdain over like serious perversions or serious crimes. So the left will say, why are you obsessed with pedophiles, huh?
Serious perversions. Okay, so you named pedophilia, which is not like a sexuality, that's a mental illness. What other perversions are you talking about? Like, you're talking about being gay, but you're not saying it. Because you were just talking about how this guy you think is gay. You were making jokes about anal beads, and now you're talking about how having disdain for perversions. Big words, Steven. I don't know if you know what they mean.
Are you a pedophile? No, that's not a real thing. Why are
Well, he's, we don't really know about Steven.
you against gay marriage? Are you gay? No, that's not a real thing. Where you do see projection, though, is in the negative behavioral patterns, especially ones that can't necessarily be proven, for example, in a court of law or through the rational Socratic method. So when they say, we're fighting the...
If you ever say the word Socratic, like, also he's talking about like the kind of projection that people point out that he does constantly, where he like cross dresses and like, is really fucking really homoerotic as a joke. It's funny. It's a joke. And like really resentful towards gay people who are like out in the open, which, he's trying to like counter people pointing that out when it's like, like there's no question about how gay you are, Steven. Like, Steven Crowder's gay. Like, just no two ways about it. Gay isn't real. And also, if you ever say the word Socratic method when you're trying to like make an argument, you've already lost. That's just pathetic. Oh my God, my mouse isn't
The
working.
power structures. Well, hold on a second. This is an actual power structure when you are sitting in a classroom with a professor. That is a person who has been designated the single figure in that classroom in power. They are a king of that classroom. They can silence you. They can decide who speaks. They can decide what your grade is. They can kick you out when they want. So when this guy says heteronormative and he talks about the powers that be, and they use that, right? They use that to set the floor, set the stage in that case. Floor, stage, same thing.
Yeah.
There was no stage. To then say we're fighting the powers that be, and that's why I, well, support censoring speech. Here's the professor trying to indoctrinate his students with that
Really?
dangerous message.
And somebody asked, like, why,
Can we also talk about how dog shit this logo is? It's just impact font with like a fucking red little arrow in it. That's so bad. These guys don't know what the hell they're doing.
why were they spitting? Well, it's because like the speaker had a story where his son transitioned and is now identified, or she identifies as she, and the father, the speaker, still did not respect that, and so then when we're talking about pronouns and respect for gender identification, then that's why things got rowdy. I do think that there's an argument to be made about what that sets up in the future.
Like, what is he talking about that's so fucking horrible? He's saying, like, sometimes people don't respect pronouns, and that's kind of messed up. And Steven Crowder's like, he supports censoring speech. Like, the leaps in logic that these fuckers make is so pathetic. Literally, what could possibly be wrong with what he's saying? Yeah, he's, like, not even comfortable saying it. Like, it's not like he's fucking preaching to the choir.
I do believe, and by no means am I, like, a violent person, right? But I do believe that
Here it comes.
A lot of noise needs to be made to consider change.
Okay.
Right?
True.
A lot of noise.
How does that relate to not being a violent person? Oh, I get it.
If we didn't have a lot of noise, some of the standing problematic ideologies historically would still exist. Does it make sense?
But like the problem, this dude is just a fucking lib. The problem is that they still exist. Like nothing has been fucking solved through like peaceful protest in America. Like we have the bare minimum of like kind of civil rights and voting rights, kind of, but they're at threat constantly. Like they're I know the audio is fucking, this is fucking fascist audio, but like they're at threat like we established civil rights, but like fucking human rights are still up for debate. If you're an undocumented person, fuck no, you don't have rights. Conservatives want a fetus to have more rights than a fucking undocumented immigrant. Are you kidding me?
Further, I think this sets up a lot of interesting things, right? Particularly the choices on what speakers are going to be coming back.
Okay, so let's just
like
walk.
he's just fucking like what is the point? I don't see what the point of this recording is. Whatever fucking Ben Shapiro little nerd fan recorded this, like I don't know what the point they were trying to make was.
Walk through that really quickly. And I know, Gerald, you're champing at the bit here to get in, but I'm not.
His name is fucking Gerald. Can we talk about that? Can we like genuinely talk about how this motherfucker, this little weaselly little pedophile fuck, is named Gerald? Really? You're gonna name your kid Gerald and expect them not to grow up to be just like a fucked person?
Not a violent person, but a lot of noise needs to be made. And I think that opens a legitimate conversation to what speakers... Let's just follow that. It starts with, I'm not a violent person, but... And then it ends with which speakers... Let me ask you, have there been violent protests over speakers on campus?
What are you talking about, dude? No. The only people that get violent are the fucking counter-protesters. Or the cops. The cops get the most violent. They'll fucking pepper spray students for like for sitting. Oh, that was just
Louder with Crowder live.
Oh my god, dude, you fucking back away from the microphone. Motherfucker's clipping. I guess that was it. I thought he was gonna have a point or a clip or evidence or anything. I thought he was really gonna say anything, but he didn't. He was just like, let me ask you this. Have protests been bad before? Have they? And then it just ended. That was just the end of the video. That's a crazy way to end the video.